So welcome everyone. My name is Tommaso, and I am currently a volunteer at Woodcraft, and I am helping with online program at the moment. And today's session is about climate change. So some of you have introduced yourselves in the chat, which is great. And if you haven't done so, please do, and tell us your name and where you come from. As Lauren mentioned, this session will be recorded. So if you're okay with it, we'll go ahead and put the session on the website. This activity is from the IFM-SEI, which is, as you know, the organization of which Woodcraft is part, and which regroups many other similar organizations around Europe and around the world. And if you will like this activity, you can find similar activities on the Woodcraft website in our We Can Resources section. So in this session, we're going to discuss and learn what carbon footprint means. And we're going to reflect on the carbon intensity of different activities that we do every day, such as maybe taking a bus or eating something, eating a burger, or taking a plane. And we're also going to discuss how our carbon footprint might have changed during this period of lockdown, and how this will have impacted the environment. And also we're going to discuss the importance of raising awareness on the necessity to take action individually, so to take small action for the environment, but also collectively to engage in social action together. So this is supposed to be an interactive session, so if you want to say something, please maybe raise your hand in the camera, or say something in the chat, and you're more than welcome to participate. So the first question is, what is someone's carbon footprint? Have you heard this term before? And what do you think it means? Yeah, Maria, I can see your hand.
It is sort of like how much we affect the environment, and especially how much carbon dioxide we put into the air.
Yeah, that's very good. Can you or someone else make any examples of how we might some example of in our everyday life in which we affect our carbon footprint? Yeah, I can see in the chat, Stanley and Jack. Do you want to say something?
I think that it is, if you were to use a car, then you would probably be releasing a lot of fuel, which is fumes. That's toxic to the environment.
Yeah, that's a very good example. And using a car is something that many people do every day, and that's definitely something that impacts our carbon footprint. So the definition that I've written down is that the carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide, so CO2, released into the atmosphere as a result of the activities of an individual, of an organization, or a community. So this is very much like the points that you raised. So thank you. And now we're going to look at different kinds of activities or items that produce carbon dioxide or CO2. And I'm going to ask you which ones you think produce more CO2. Let's see. So the first one is, do you think a cheeseburger or a veggie burger produces more CO2? I can see Gregory has written cheeseburger and Stanley as well. So let's see how much CO2 they produce. So a veggie burger produces 1 kilo of CO2, and a cheeseburger produces more than twice the amount, so 2.5 kilos of CO2. So you were correct. And can any of you tell me why a cheeseburger produces more CO2 than a veggie burger? What's the reason behind this difference? Yeah, Gregory? I think you're on mute. If you could unmute your microphone. Yeah.
I think that it's probably like that the cheeseburgers are very processed, and also the fumes from like the factories which kill the animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. It's Stanley says in the chat, because it is meat, and meat is animals, and they produce more things than plants, but plants still produce well. Yeah, I think you made a good point, even though I didn't understand the second part, but definitely meat produces more CO2 because to feed the animals, we need to grow lots of plants, which instead of being fed to humans, for example, need to be fed to the animals. And so the total amount of plants that need to be fed to the animals is much higher than if we just ate them ourselves in the first place. So that's the main reason behind the difference here. All right, the second one. Which of these activities or items produce more CO2? So 1 mile by car, 1 mile by train, or 1 mile by plane? So maybe you can just put them right in the chat and put them in order from the one that produces the most CO2 to the one that produces the less CO2. So you can just write maybe A, B, or C in the order that you think is correct. Oh, sorry, I see C. Many of you have written C. So Gregory has written B. So train, then car, and then plane. And Stanley has written the same, but has put plane as the most polluting, then car, and then all of you have put plane as the most polluting, I think. So we'll go to the answers now. So 1 mile by car or by bus produces 150 grams of CO2, and which is the same as 1 mile by train, which is a bit surprising because when I was doing this PowerPoint myself, I thought that buses were more polluting than cars or trains. And of course, 1 mile by plane is by far more polluting than the other two. For example, a flight from London to Edinburgh produces more CO2 than a person that lives in many African countries during an entire year, for example. So plane is by far the most polluting mode of transport. And of course, many people in the world cannot afford to take the plane, so the ones that fly the most is just a quite small percentage of the population in general, and mostly in more wealthy countries. So it's actually a very small percentage of people that pollute a lot by taking the plane. Do you have any questions on this one? No, great. Let's move to the next one, which of these activities do you think produce more CO2? Taking a 6-minute shower, producing 1 kilo of rubbish, or producing a pair of cotton jeans? Again, you can write in the chat from the most polluting one to the less polluting one. So Gregory has written BCA. Jojo Williams has written pair of cotton jeans, kilo of rubbish and a shower. Yeah. Fox has written B as the most polluting, 1 kilo of rubbish. Let's see the answer. So taking a 6-minute shower produces 500 grams of CO2. 1 kilo of rubbish produces slightly more with 700 grams. And producing a pair of cotton jeans produces quite a lot more than the other two with 6 kilo of CO2. And this again, I was quite surprised when I saw this, and I read that Stanya and Jack, okay, I learned something new today. Me as well, when I was reading this, I learned something new, which is always good. Why do you think producing a pair of cotton jeans is so polluting? What can be the reason behind that? Yes, Gregory?
Because most of them are like made in like big factories, which in like usually like Southeast Asia, at low cost, so they don't really think about environmental risk.
Yeah, I think that's answers the question. Stanley, do you want to say something? You said that Stan knows.
Okay, I knew that it was C because where cotton jeans are usually made, they use a lot of machines to weave all the denim together, which is what jeans are made out of. And a lot of machinery means a lot of electricity, which means a lot of CO2.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. As both of you mentioned, these products very large factories which produce lots of CO2, and then there's the process of transport as well. So when these products are made in Asia or in some other places in the world, they have to be probably by plane, they have to be transported to Europe and then distributed to different shops. So the whole process is very polluting, I would say. And of course, in addition to the pollution problem, as Gregory mentioned, these products are made at very low cost. which also involves exploitation of workers and sometimes also of children. So there's a double problem there. But thank you for answering those questions. I will move to the next one now, which is, in which country does the average person produce more CO2 during a year? So do you think an average person produces more CO2 in China, in the United States, in Uganda, which is a country in Africa, or in India? I can see Stanley said B, United States. Gregory as well. And maybe try to write down now the second one. What is the second country that produces? Stanley says India. Gregory says India as well. We'll check the answer in a minute. Do you want to try to put the third one as well? Gregory writes China. I can see Fox put B as the most polluting, I assume, the United States. So let's check the answers. So China, an average person in China produces 7,500 kilos of CO2 every year. A person in the United States produces more than 16,000 kilos of CO2. A person in Uganda only 100 kilos of CO2, and a person in India a bit less than 2,000 kilos of CO2. So many of you were correct when you said that the United States is by far the most polluting country. Then the second one is China. And then the other two, India and Uganda, are quite far behind.
Did you have your hand up to say something, Fox?
Sorry,
Did you have your
Fox,
hand
yeah.
up to say something?
They have bigger factories and bigger cars.
In the United States, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have very big cars in the United States, I agree. And they have lots of factories as well, which are very polluting. And yeah, Gregory, you want to say something?
I was wondering about the UK's average, because it'll be quite high as well, won't it?
If I remember, the UK was more or less on the same level as China, a bit less, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, which is quite high, I think, if you compare it to India or
Higher
Uganda.
than the UK by a long way.
Yeah. And do you think, so I have another question for you. Do you think that measuring the average person's CO2 emissions per year is a good way of, yeah, Gregory says yes. And what might be a problem of looking at it this way? Do you think people in the same country have the same kind of impact on the environment? Gregory says no, and Stanley says no as well. Do you want to share why? Why do you think some different people might produce less CO2 than others?
I think that it's not good if you use it that way, because there might be some people who use less electricity and less, I don't know, fossil fuels than that. There might be some people who use tons and tons, and there's some people who are like sort of in the middle.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you.
Why I think this is a good measurement, because it sort of shows you what sort of the average person would be doing, but it's also not really average person, because not everyone has enough money to fly. Like, some people like fly like twice a week or something to, like, you live in Edinburgh, then fly to London, work in London, fly back. So, like, fly twice a week, and it's just crazy. So I think some people, especially rich people, who can pay for like big cars, maybe multiple cars, planes, sometimes even private planes, they would do a lot more than like the average person.
Yeah, definitely. I think both of your points here raise the question of inequality, in the sense that some people are able to, like Gregory said, find many different places in the world and drive different cars, and that produces a lot of CO2, while other people are just doing regular things which have a much lower impact on the environment. And so looking at the average person is gives an indication, but at the same time does not take into account the very big difference that exists between different groups in society, I think. So I think your points are very valid in this sense. I will move now to the next one, which is, again, the same question. Which of these activities produce more CO2? Do you think it's boiling 1 liter of water with a kettle, 1 supermarket plastic bag, or drying your hands with a paper towel? Again, you can put them in order, starting from the one that pollutes the most. I can see Gregory has written BAC. Stanley has written A as the most polluting. And Georgia Williams has written ABC. Stanley CBA. So all of you have put different answers. So let's look at the answer. So boiling 1 liter of water with a kettle produces 70 grams of CO2. 1 supermarket plastic bag is 10 grams of CO2, and drying your hands with a paper towel is 10 grams of CO2 as well. So yeah, boiling 1 liter of water with a kettle definitely is the one with the major impact. But on the other hand, plastic bags are something that we use every day. So if we do it in the long run, that might be problematic, because we have all different emissions. And in the long run, it might be higher than the other two, I think. All right, I'll move to the next one now. This one is a bit tricky, maybe. Which of these two activities produce more CO2? Is it 1 hectare of deforestation or a space shuttle flight? Which one do you think is worse for the environment? Stanley has written B many times. And Gregory has written B as the worst as well. And Georgia Williams has written that deforestation might be the worst. And Fox has written B. And Stanley has written A. So let's see the answer. So 1 hectare of deforestation produces 500 tons of CO2, and a space shuttle flight produces 4,600 tons of CO2, so a lot more. Do you know what a ton is? How much is a ton? Yeah, so it's 1,000 kilos. And what do you think is a cause of deforestation? Why do people cut so many trees down? What is one of the causes of deforestation, I think? Yeah, Gregory, I can see your hand up.
Land for farming, land to graze animals, unsustainable palm oil, and other things like that.
Yeah, Fox, you want to say something?
So they can make paper.
Yeah, with trees we can make paper, so that's also definitely a reason of deforestation, I think. Thank you. And so yeah, definitely trees is a reason, and as Gregory mentioned, animal agriculture is definitely a major reason as well, because maybe Fox wants to say no. Okay. So yeah, cutting down trees to make space for growing crops that then are fed to animals, and also to grow palm oil. I think all the things that Gregory mentioned are correct. Stanley, do you want to say something?
I was going to say that one of the reasons that deforestation usually happens is to make space for planting palm trees, which can produce palm oil, which is useful in a lot of things, but sometimes it is overdone and more deforestation happens than what is needed. If we do it efficiently and not do too much, then it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's Gregory, you want to say something?
I would like to say, currently, enough rainforests have been cleared so that there can be sustainable palm oil plantations, which I support, and people should just stop. I get there are like sustainable ways of getting wood, but there should be no more chopping down of like rainforest.
Yeah, I think we've definitely reached a point where we have to stop, or at least reduce cutting down trees, because rainforests are very important also to store CO2 and to absorb CO2 from the air, which is very important to fight climate change as well. So doing it in a more sustainable way is definitely very important. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. This is more of a general question for you. So do you think the lockdown changed your habits, and how has this changed your carbon footprint? You can either write something in the chat, or if you want to say something, you can raise your hand. Yeah, Gregory?
I would just like to say it has definitely changed our habits a lot. Like, I know many of my friends were meant to be taking trains and planes to holidays during the Easter holidays. Not gonna happen. And also we're not going on public transport, which means people who have cars are but even people who have cars are driving less because there's not really anything to do.
Yeah, I think transport is definitely one of the main things that have changed for many people. Fox, you want to say something?
Yes. I never used to play computer games, and now I do, since lockdown started.
Yeah, so that's also a very important change. Many people use maybe computers or their
Because
mobile phones more.
I never used to have time, because I was always at school most of the day.
Yeah, and now you have time to try new things on your computer, maybe.
Yeah, I do work and then I play the games.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's also a change that many people have experienced, I think. And do you think these changes have made your carbon footprint better or worse?
Better. I mean, smaller. For people who want to completely destroy the planet, the coronavirus is bad for our carbon footprint. But for people who actually care about the planet, it was good for our carbon footprint. Bad thing.
Yeah.
It made our carbon footprint smaller.
Yeah, I think so. I can read Stanley and Jack, who said, it made me think about the ways people have been spending their lives locked up in their houses, too scared to leave even into their gardens. Yeah, I think, this lockdown has made many of us think about many ways in which we lived our lives and the environment and how our society works. And it's a good time to think about those things and maybe how we can change them for the better, hopefully. Thank you for sharing this, all of you. I have a few questions for you in the next slide, which is, what are some of the things that stop you sometimes from doing or not doing some activities that are less good for the environment? And why is it difficult to change our habits?
Okay. So what stops you producing less?
So why is it difficult, you think, sometimes to change our habits or to behave in ways that is better for the environment? Like for me, for instance, sometimes I do some things, but I don't necessarily think about them. And so sometimes a lack of awareness around certain things is a factor. Do you think about the environment during your daily life, during the day? In what kinds of situations? I see Gregory saying yes. Oh. And is there anything that, for example, maybe you have just a habit? I can see Stanley and Jack saying using transport that has a negative effect on our environment and our atmosphere, definitely. Lauren says that she doesn't use single-use plastics as much as I can, but it's hard. I think, like Lauren said, sometimes because our society is not used to all these changes, it can be a bit unpractical to change some things. So for example, someone who wants to change his or her diet to a plant-based diet, if he or she is invited to a friend's house and they cook something with meat, then it can be a bit, he or she might feel uncomfortable because he or she wants to eat something else. So sometimes I think it's a bit unpractical. So any of you want to share something Otherwise, I will move on to the next slide. I can see Gregory saying, my friends all know and eat and don't eat meat because you're a vegetarian. I think you have very good friends, and that's very important to have support around you. So that's really good, I think. And all right, I will move on to the final slide, which has a few other things we can discuss. These are some points to wrap up what we discussed today. So I think it's important to make individual changes, but also to act collectively and engage in social action together. So do you think individual changes in our lifestyle are enough? And if not, why are they not enough? What kinds of things do we also have to change in addition to just changing some of our habits? And why is social action important in this sense, do you think? For example, changing our lifestyle won't necessarily change the policies of the government, for example. I can see Gregory saying, no, we have to go on school strikes and climate marches. Definitely, it's very important. I think it's also important to do these kind of things not to feel powerless, because if we act alone, we might not feel the impact of the actions that we make, and we might feel a bit discouraged maybe. And Gregory said we need to change who runs the country, and they need to care as well. Yeah, I think the changes at the level of government are very important because they have the power to have a very significant impact on society and how things work. So that's a very important thing to do, I think. The second point I wrote down is that even if our small actions don't seem to make a lot of difference, they are also useful because they raise awareness of people around us and encourages them to think more about the environment. So this is about even if we think our small actions don't change much, they can still have an impact on people around us and make them think. Maybe we can discuss this in our family or with our friends, and then slowly this can have a bigger impact across society. Stanley and Shikes said we need to limit our resources. I think, yes, resource use is unsustainable at the moment, and we need to probably consume less and buy less things in general. So good point there. And the last point I wanted to make is that people with the economic means to make changes should be the first ones to make them. And then people who cannot be as environmentally friendly as they would like to be, because maybe they struggle a bit economically, should not feel guilty about it. So again, here is the question of inequality with a small number of people who consume a lot and produce a lot of CO2. And if they have the opportunity to do so, they should be the first ones, I think, to make an effort. And the same is at the level of countries. So richer countries should be the first ones to try to reduce their emissions. Does any of you have a question or something they want to share related to climate change or anything about the session? All right then. In this case, this was the last slide. Thank you very much for attending and for participating. It was very interesting to have this discussion with you, and I hope you learned new things today. And Lauren, do you want to say something about a new website, maybe?
Yes, I would love to. Thanks so much, Tommaso. That was a really great session, and I think we all learned a few new things as well as catching up on things that we maybe already knew. If you haven't already, then check out our new website with loads of resources and fun things to do at home, as well as lots of other upcoming live sessions that are coming our way, which is just dreambigathome.uk. Check it out. And also, if you enjoyed this activity in this session, then you can support Woodcraft Folk by donating on the link that's on the screen now, and I'll put it in the chat too. Thanks everyone for joining, and our next session is next Tuesday for Elfin and Pioneer Games. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Stanley. We will do on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you.